Hey, welcome back to Nursing Home Insider, and I'm Cherie for the scoop on the food. And I know everybody's got opinions on the food. I've seen it all. Like, some of it is really bad. But not everything that you hear is true. And so we're going to bust 5 myths, and we're also going to talk about some definite truths. So grab a snack of your choosing, and maybe we will learn something new about the food in nursing homes today. Okay, myth number 1. All the food is bland and gross. So, especially one nursing home I worked in, the food was bland and gross, and especially for people on puree, because all they got to eat was mashed potatoes, instant mashed potatoes, and Jell-O. That was their puree diet. So that's pretty bad. There's mystery casseroles and mystery meat Mondays and all kinds of things that you hear about nursing homes. I want to hear your comments below about your experience, either as a worker or as a family member. Okay, but the budgets are tight, and that's what we're going to talk about. And especially in this economy, I know they've probably even gotten cut farther back. But $6 to $8 a day per resident is about what is spent on their food for the day. I suggest, if you are looking at a nursing home or if your family member is in a nursing home, that you go visit during a meal. Okay, those are always a good place to start. We're going to talk about what you can do as a family member to help. But that is not true. It's not all bland and gross. 2, it's all frozen or canned. Now, there again, mostly I think that is true because of cost. And so, you can get so much more for your money if you're buying canned stuff versus fresh stuff. I've worked in nursing homes where we've had gardens and they've eaten food out of the garden. That's very rare, I have to tell you. If you have a place like that, please tell me where it is. I would love to know that. Also, ask to see a menu cycle. Most places serve the same thing. Like down in New Orleans, red beans and rice are Mondays. That's what you do, even if you're not in a nursing home. So, nursing homes, definitely red beans and rice. And you got Fridays are usually fish and whatever. So if it's typical, same old, every single week, you want to look at that. They also, another myth is, you don't get to eat what you want, but that's what we have resident councils for, and that's what we have the family care plan for, so that you can discuss your needs and wants with the dietitian and the cook so that they can try to accommodate your loved one. And I know in the last place I worked, she was very good at trying to accommodate what they wanted to eat. Myth number 3, well, we just said that, didn't we? Residents have no say, and that's what resident council is, and that's what, if you have somebody that cares in the kitchen, they care about the residents, then residents will have a say. Now, I know, on the resident council, we always did a monthly meal, but it should be more than that. You should have a say if you want to eat red beans and rice every Monday or not. Myth number 4, it's never nutritious. Well, if it's always in a can, then yeah, it's probably not. If you get fresh fruit, vegetables, protein, I know that now we were talking about the cutback. So say you've got that budget and you're going to have chicken. Grilled chicken would be a whole lot healthier than chicken nuggets. But sometimes that will sneak in and you might get chicken nuggets instead of grilled chicken. So you want to take, just ask if there's a full-time dietitian on staff so that you can talk to them. That's always a good idea. Also, families can't do anything wrong because, number 1, you can bring food in if it's allowed, and depending on their diet. And of course, we say their diet. I want to say this, so a regular diet versus puree, or a regular diet versus low sodium, or you know, all these different diets that they can be on. And the kitchen has to take all that into consideration too. But you as a family member, you number one, if they're in their right mind and they want to eat what they want, that's up to them. They can do that. You can bring in food. You can also, like I said, talk to the kitchen staff and see what you can do to accommodate your loved ones. Before we go into the truths, those myths are also true. They're not all just myths, but like I said, it's not all bad. Some places are worse than others, for sure. And, food, we act like it's not a big deal, but really it's like the heart and soul, really, because most of us live to eat. We love to eat. And when you get in a nursing home, it's almost like your only joy left is food. So we want to be able to do the best we can for our loved one because they do deserve better. Now, just some few truths real quick. The budget does rule everything. Okay. That's just true. Like, even at your house, you can't go buy more food if you don't have any more money. So that's the whole day, $6 to $8 a person per day. Even though the cook may care deeply, there's not a whole lot she can do or he can do. They're on a budget. So, 2, kitchen staff work miracles, and I've seen it happen. Okay, so we're not dissing kitchen workers or cooks. I know some great ones. Okay, so they may not be professional chefs, but they're grandmas and mothers and people who care about these people. And I've got people in my head that I know that do this job, and they're cooking for 80, 150 people at a time, and that's a lot. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done that. I used to do that for like Wednesday night dinners at a church, and I would cook for all those people. But it's not just like you've got all these different diets and all these different things that people want, so you've got to do that. Short staff, they're short staffed in the kitchen, just like the CNAs. And they're working double shifts to make sure these people get to eat. And like the snacks, in the afternoon, I know everybody talks about, so like the bigger meal is lunch. And then dinner is usually something light, like a, soup and a sandwich or something like that. And then the snacks are usually fruit, bananas and grapes and oranges and crackers, stuff like that in the afternoons. But they're trying to do with what they can. So, try not to be too hard on the kitchen staff. And the other truth is the quality depends on who owns the place and what their priorities are. And you need to find that out if that's important to you and your loved one. Nonprofits and profits, we looked at that a few weeks ago, and the differences, they can say that some for-profits cut corners for profit, and I've just seen just as many nonprofits do the same thing. Okay, so I don't really know that there's a difference between profit and nonprofit when it comes to that. It just depends on the owners and what they feel is important. And here's another truth, and older people lose interest in eating. Now, like the older you get, your taste buds change. So what they may have loved earlier in life, they don't. Or, but the last taste bud to leave is our sweet taste bud, sweet and salty. So that, if all of a sudden they just want a bunch of sweets to eat, even though that's not healthy, I get it. They still need a good diet. But just know that their taste buds do change, and we need to cater to that to some extent when they get older. So, your loved one deserves better. Food in nursing homes can be bad, and it can be great. I want to hear your opinions on that and your experiences on what you have seen. I could give examples. And, like the last place I worked, I will tell you, and they did a great job, but they couldn't cater to like, oh, I want a fried egg over easy. I want a hard scramble. I want this. I want that. If they had to do that for 100 people, it would be awful. So, once a month, I did early morning eggs, and I would just take my hot plate in there and go with eggs, and they would come and I would fix them how they wanted them, and they would have them with their breakfast, or they would have them before their breakfast, or whatever. But, just something that they like. So thanks for stopping by, and make sure and like and subscribe. And I told you last week that I was going to the nursing home, so I'm really, really trying to get there to do this interviews with them. However, there was like all those protests last week, and then this week we had a big parade down there, so I didn't go. So it's coming, I promise. And you can hear from them what they like and what they don't like. And until then, I'll see you next week. Thank you.